Welcome to AI Arch Wizard. In this episode, I would like to talk about Claude Fable 5. The purpose of this episode is to understand where is the biggest strength of Claude Fable 5 and to use example of extraterrestrial aliens in one of these sample prompts. So, I am here in Grok because I tried to ask this question Fable himself, but he didn't answer. There were problems. So I asked Grok list areas with sample prompts where Claude Fable LLM is much better than Claude Opus LLM. And Grok, which is known to be truthful, says Claude Fable 5, which is the Anthropic's new Mythos class model, is most capable, widely available model to date. It sits clearly above the previous Opus tier. It sits clearly above the previous Opus tier in several areas. And I wanted to know which areas, so Grok has answered. Here are the clearest areas where Fable 5 is markedly stronger, with sample prompts that highlight the difference. Number 1. Fable 5 shines in long horizon agentic coding and autonomous software engineering. So Fable 5 shines in multi-file, multi-step projects, vague to complete implementations, real repository patching, and so on. So benchmarks on software engineering show large gains. And a sample prompt in this area is to build a complete production-ready app, and so on. So this is area number 1. Long horizon agentic coding and autonomous software engineering. Area number 2. Complex, long-running analytical and research tasks. Fable 5 is the first model to break 90% on Anthropic's core analytics benchmark for complex, long-running analytical work. It's over 10 points jump over Opus. It maintains coherence and depth over extended sessions and huge contexts. So sample prompt perform a deep multi-step analysis of insert complex topic, and so on. So this is area number 1, complex, long-running analytical and research tasks. Area number 3, vague prompt, creative and innovative project building. One shot or lightly guided. Claude Fable 5 excels at turning ambiguous or high-level ideas into fully functional, complex, interactive projects with minimal hand-holding. Users report building sophisticated web apps, games, and data experiences in single prompts or very few iterations. And the sample prompts create a beautiful, fully functional, interactive, blah, 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 web application, and so on. So this is area number 3, vague prompt, creative and innovative project building. One shot or lightly guided. Area number 4, deep technical knowledge work and synthesis. Claude Fable 5 shows stronger recall and accurate synthesis of detailed, recent technical information, like open source projects, libraries, nuanced concepts compared to Opus in side-by-side tests. And let's remember that Opus already is very good, and in my experience was beating ChatGPT in different areas. So, sample prompt, list all of a name of prolific developer, open source projects, most recent first, with rough release dates and short descriptions. Be as comprehensive and accurate as possible without external search. So this is area number 4, deep technical knowledge work and synthesis. Area number 4, where Fable 5 is very strong. And finally, the final area is number 5, sustained high effort reasoning on ambiguous or multi-judgment tasks. Claude Fable 5 handles long chains of decisions, research subtasks, verification and refinement better. Users describe shifting from steering the model constantly, like in the case of Opus, to commissioning an outcome in the case of Fable. And additional strong prompt style, that any prompt that benefits from adaptive thinking, high reasoning effort. Fable supports explicit effort control, low, medium, high, X high and max. And in the example that follows, I used max. And advice from Grok is to combine prompt with the following sentence that I also use. Think step by step at maximum depth. Explore alternatives. Self-critique and iterate internally before final output. And that's it. These are the 5 areas. The 5th area was sustained high effort reasoning on ambiguous and multi-judgment tasks. And caveats, important caveats. Safety guardrails. Because Fable 5 is a metals class model, it has several guardrails. Of course, it is 2 times much more expensive, roughly 2 times the price of Opus 4.8, which is $10 per million of input tokens. And the best use case are hard problems where Opus 4.8 or cheaper models fail. But I have to tell you, I was using Sonnet model successfully in OpenClaw and in programming. So, and also in use cases where it is controlling web apps. So even Sonnet is good. Opus is very good, and Fable is incredible. Fable is the best. So now I used this sentence here, think step by step. See here, think step by step. And I ask Claude Fable with the model max, you can see here the effort, the maximum effort, max. The following question about aliens. Answer why extraterrestrial aliens have not been disclosed publicly and explicitly by government of USA, assuming that such aliens both exist and contacted mankind. That they both exist and contacted mankind. And now I added this here, additional qualifier, Think step by step at maximum depth. Explore alternatives. Self-critique and iterate internally before final output. And I have to tell you, Claude Fable was thinking a lot and answered. So why government of USA has not disclosed publicly the aliens, assuming that there was a contact? Reason number one, you can read here on the screen if you want. Secrecy compounds into a trap. Whatever was the original motive, decades of denial manufacture new motives. And disclosure would expose perjury before Congress. And a lot of funds spent and so on. So the cover-up becomes self-justifying. So it is inherited death. Secrecy compacts into a trap. This is the reason why it was alias one and not disclosed. I think it's possible, it's logical. Reason number two, the sovereignty problem. A state's legitimacy rests on its claim to control territory and protect citizens. And confirming that an actor, like these extraterrestrial aliens, operate in your airspace with impunity is admission of impotence. No government would like to volunteer. And political scientists made exactly this argument in 2008. The taboo protects the fiction that humans rule themselves. So it's about protection of the fiction. So reason number two, the sovereignty problem. Reason number three, no controlled narrative. Governments disclose when they can manage the story. So honest announcement is something happened, we don't understand it, we cannot protect you, would be the worst pessimist imaginable. So silence beats partial honesty. So because they will lose control over the narrative, the government would lose control over the narrative. That's not reason number three. Reason number four is also logical. Irreversibility plus zero individual incentive. So, because disclosure can never be undone, but waiting always can be undone. So that's why no official gains by being the discloser, because they would have to absorb the ridicule, the panic management, and blame. So inaction requires no signature. Inaction requires no one's signature. So reason number four is about irreversibility. Reason number five is strategic asymmetry. This is because if USA would had gained some technology, secrecy preserves advantage and keeps Russia and China guessing. And disclosure would invite espionage and demands for sharing. So if USA has technology for infinite energy from extraterrestrial aliens, others would like to have it, and so on. It's very logical reason. Strategic asymmetry. So government of USA would like not to disclose. Reason number five. Reason number six is coordination failure. If only USA would do it, it would affect every nation. But coordinated disclosure requires trust. And such trust doesn't exist. It's a public good nobody funds. The first mover pays all costs. The word splits the benefit. So it's like Apple Corporation. It was not the first mover in smartphones, but they created iPhone that has beaten all other smartphones, despite Apple not being the first mover. So reason number 6 is logical. And then Claude Fable 5 writes that the 2 popular explanations are that mass panic could happen. But currently, service suggests that curiosity would dominate. But it is unclear, because if the aliens are hostile, it could change everything. And there are some other alternatives that Claude Fable considered. The elected government can't disclose because it doesn't know. Because it could be that contractor programs are insulated from oversight by government. Another alternative, no disclosure is the visitor's condition, not Washington's choice. Compliance with a demand that can't be refused. So if extraterrestrial aliens have technology millions of years ahead of humans, they can say, we order you not to disclose, and Washington or USA government has to comply. Another reason, I think it is very serious, a very good reason. Another reason is disclosure is happening but slowly, which is that the deliberate rip to acclimatize rather than shock. I think it's happening, but it is not explicit, like this Navy video confirmations. And finally, another alternative, disclosure may be ill-defined. Without a producible artifact, an announcement is just an assertion that invites ridicule, not belief. So you see how extremely intelligent Claude Fable is. It considered all options and gave all possible explanations. So finally, Claude Fable says the synthesis. These explanations don't compete, they stack. A plausible initial motive, like Cold War tech race, creates legal exposure, which drives deeper compartmentalization, which destroys accountable knowledge, until no single actor processes the information, the authority and the incentive to disclose. Secrecy stops being a decision anyone makes and becomes an equilibrium nobody can unilaterally exit. One honest caveat. This structure is unforeseeable from outside. The same observable world, like denials, ambiguity, a drip of UAP news, is equally consistent with there being nothing to disclose. That's not a flaw in the hypothetical. It is the most unsettling feature of it. So, it is also possible that there's no extraterrestrial aliens, and this is everything psychological operation. But anyway, as I asked, assuming that such extraterrestrial aliens both exist and contacted, what are the reasons? And you can see that thanks to this step-by-step at maximum depth and using max model, here you can see I used the effort max, see, max effort. Claude Fable answered beautifully all possibilities regarding extraterrestrial aliens. So, thank you for listening and watching. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you have questions, put them into comments below.